195 straight days. 195 straight days of Clippers talk. Welcome in. Here we go, Clips fans.
Clippers talk with Adam Osland. After every game, download every pod. Clippers talks the name. He's a basketball talking golden god.
New episodes after every game on demand.
Follow Clippers Talk wherever you get your podcasts.
Clippers.
Follow Clippers Talk OT as well. Welcome in. Appreciate you guys. Coming up, we'll be joined by Harrison Wind of the DNVR Sports Network. Covers the Denver Nuggets closely. Going to give us some intel, some insight. We'll go behind enemy lines a little bit and talk about how the Denver Nuggets are feeling about this series, including hearing from their interim head coach. We'll have that audio for you guys. You know what? Should we go to it right now? Nah, let's go to Coach Lou first today at practice because we got that for you guys. Steve's in here. F. J-Dog. Let's go. Robert's in here. Says you again. Yeah. You again as well. F said censoring the fart. And the fart noise is not going away here.
Your podcast.
Clippers. Clippers.
Now Bob Smith's mad at me because I pointed out that, that argument we had last season about who's better between Ivica Zubac and Domantas Sabonis if you're trying to build a championship team. Well, I think I won that argument. I think it's clear. One guy is going to get some Defensive Player of the Year votes. The other guy has trouble guarding the basket. Really enjoyed the talk with Dime Dropper yesterday, said Steve. Yeah, check out that show. Check out the Tomer Azarli episode as well. Alex Webb saying, is it Saturday yet? No, it's not. We got another good guest coming for you tomorrow. But today, Harrison Wind from Denver Sports Network, DNVR Network. He will be here to tell us about everything that has happened with the Denver Nuggets and how they're looking from their side, getting ready to engage with the Clippers in this matchup. All right. So I saw this audio came out just a little bit ago, but we got some Clippers practice audio for you guys. Here was Coach Lou just about an hour ago.
What have you seen from how the Nuggets have used him throughout the year that maybe differs from how you used him?
I haven't really paid that much attention. I know when we played him, he's –
that wasn't the first answer. I'm going to go to this one instead.
Let's go.
Here we go.
Oh, what you got, Justin?
What's the key for you in the series?
Taking care of the basketball, getting back in transition.
Boom. What have we talked about? When we did our preview by the numbers, the Denver Nuggets, most fast break points per game at around 21. Clippers cannot have turnovers in bunches, especially live ball turnovers. It's been an issue all season long. Denver will destroy them in that area. You want the Clippers to set their defense. When they do, they can give anybody problems. Maybe even Nikola Jokic.
When it comes to Russell Westbrook, what have you seen from how the Nuggets have used him throughout the year that maybe differs from how you used him?
I haven't really paid that much attention. I know when we played him, he's running pick and rolls, being aggressive, pushing the pace. But I haven't really seen how they've really been using it.
That was a question about Russell Westbrook.
What were you guys able to do at practice today? What did you guys do?
One was offensive stuff. Then defensively, we did some stuff live, just trying to, simulate, how Denver's going to play and how we need to guard and defend it. And then that's about it.
Everyone was able to go through that?
That was live, yeah. Everyone went through it.
What's the Nikola status today?
He practiced again today. So looks good. So we'll see going forward.
Nico Batum practices again today. Looks good. So we'll see going forward. I think he's good to go, guys. I think Nico Batum will be playing on Saturday.
Everyone went through it.
What's the Nikola status today?
He practiced again today. And so looks good. So we'll see going forward.
Everybody else is clear and healthy?
Yes, sir.
You're good too?
Yes, sir.
Back is fine?
I'm good.
Leg is fine?
We're missing for the world.
Brain is fine too?
I'm good.
Do you envision?
They're fully healthy.
I know you guys are planning today, got to practice tomorrow. Do you envision getting a conditioning type workout and trying to get the wind going up in that altitude?
No, it'll probably be an easy day tomorrow. Just kind of cleaning up some things that we saw in practice today that we got to get better at defensively, and just go with some offensive stuff. And but I don't think we do too much running up and down. Might sneak a little 10 in, but I don't know if they go there or not.
I just sneak that in.
I snuck it in today. Yeah. They didn't like it, but just trying to keep ourselves going. Like we had a good rhythm, and now you get a week off, so just trying to keep as much shape as we can, going into this game on Saturday.
Wow, Jermaine thinks the Clippers could sweep them if we play our best. I think they'd also have to play their best, and Denver might have to play their worst for a sweep to happen. But maybe you're right. Justin Russo has Clippers in 5. I see a scenario where that happens. I really do. But then I think about Jokic and just what a difficult cover he is in the history of the NBA and how many problems he presents. So I'm still going Clippers in 6. But would I be shocked? No, I wouldn't be shocked if Denver won in 6. Wouldn't be shocked if the Clippers won in 5.
How much easier is it for you guys to get acclimated to the altitude and the pace and stuff up there when you're there for a couple days, as opposed to you got to fly in and play, like, for instance, like a second night of a back-to-back? Like, you're able to actually get acclimated. Does it help?
I hope so. I would hope so. Just we know it's going to be a factor, but after the first 5-6 minutes, we should be good. And so, like you said, being there for a few days and having that one game on our belt, playing the second game, getting better and better. So we should see.
With a guy like Bogey and the familiarity that he has with a guy like Jokic, is there anything you can, like, any discussions you have or anything like that about?
We have some discussions.
Yeah, things he likes to do.
Oh, he's picked Bogey's brain because he knows his Serbian brother and Nikola Jokic played together on the national team, almost beat Team USA last summer. Asking Bogey about Nikola Jokic-like tendencies. I like that.
Dude.
Yeah, we had some discussions. Can't share them right here, but
you can't remember, huh?
I can't remember.
No.
Yeah,
anything from the Olympics that can help you with this? You guys did beat him after getting down 300.
I think they were down 17 to Serbia.
They probably decided to show up and play in the Olympic Games. I mean,
yeah. I didn't look at that game to try to play the Denver Nuggets, but we'll see.
You guys were
so he didn't look at the Team USA matchup against Serbia to get ready to play Denver and Jokic here in this series.
You guys were so strategic and methodical as an organization, bringing Kawhi back months ago now. He's talked a little bit about how proud he is to have arrived at this point, as healthy as he is currently, just sort of on like a person-to-person basis. What do you make of the journey that you guys sort of set him on, or you guys went on together, arriving at this point exactly how you wanted it to?
Yeah, well, like I said yesterday, just happy for him, to put all the work he's put in to get to this point. Like I said, going to the playoffs healthy. That's what he's been wanting. So we're very happy about that. And you see, when he plays at a high level, we're a different team. And so, having him back, like I said, all the preparation he did to get to this point, in the weight room with the medical staff, and get here. Like I said, I'm happy for him.
Did you guys see the Patrick Beverley text from Kawhi? Kawhi telling him he's just happy he made it through the year. He's happy he made it through the year. Kawhi has talked about it a lot and how he is having a goal right now of just being healthy this summer so he can actually train like he would like to have a summer where he's not doing rehab. That would be pretty big for Kawhi Leonard. I'm trying to stall and look for this audio.
Friend Kawhi. Yeah. Right? We like to give Kawhi love on this pod because that's the homie. That's all. He's just the homie. And we love to get so I hit Kawhi Sunday 707. I say tough. Killed they ass. That shit look crazy on TV. The game I'm talking about is the Golden State game. No one can guard them. Right? No one can guard him in that game. Right? I say tween, cross to the midi, drill work. He responds, emoji, tear in his eye. Pat, I'm happy that I made it through. Pat, I'm happy that I made it through the year. So when he said that, it kind of, because I'm talking strictly basketball. So when he sent, tear emoji, him happy that he made it through the year, it gave me something else. It gave me like, damn, that's true. It's one of the few years like my boy finished the season healthy, right? And anyone that knows anything about any injuries understand how it's important to like feel good, be healthy going into the playoffs, right? My response to K, right? My response to K, mind you.
All right. That was Patrick Beverley talking about that text from Kawhi. Just happy he made it through the year with a crying emoji face. That's pretty awesome. He also mentioned Chris Dunn recently. And apparently, I got it for you. I got the audio for you guys. Hold on now.
I'd just love to know what Kawhi thinks of Chris Dunn's defense.
He go, hey, Pat. What okay? You will like Chris Dunn. He remind me of you. No. Hey, K, it's only one of me. Yeah, I know, but he does. I go, all right, K, tell me more. They scared of him, Pat. And that's the last person I seen besides you where players get the ball, scared to bring that thing up against him. They scared of him, Pat.
He covers ground like a defensive back. He kind of covers up other people's assignments in like such a fluid way that must be a joy to play with. And it kind of lets Harden be offensive Harden a little bit more.
That's some shit. Hey, see how crazy, see how fucked up that is?
Why?
That's crazy. What the fuck you think I allowed Harden to do in those years when he was extra successful? I was next to him. I started this motherfucker. Okay, cool. I'm going to just go out here and guard 3 motherfuckers. You just go out here and score 50. Make sure you hit me in the corner, too, so you get your triple-double. You only got 8 assists. Yeah, I'm open. You missed me a couple times. I'm in the corner waiting.
I just love to.
I didn't know there was that much language here. That's Pat Bev. That's one of my favorites ever. And I told you guys before the season started, the Clippers have not had a defender like this with Chris Dunn since Patrick Beverley. I told you all here. They were very similar. I actually think Chris Dunn is better. He's slightly more disciplined. He doesn't gamble as much. He's not better by a lot. By a little bit. Yeah, I definitely think that's the case. And I love Pat Bev. Now, if you say overall, I don't know if I can go there because Pat Bev was a more consistent three-point shooter. Had multiple seasons shooting a high percentage from the outside for the Clippers. So I don't know if I take it that far. But as a straight-up perimeter defender, yeah, I think I would say Chris Dunn is slightly better than Patrick Beverley. I've been saying it for a bit here. Back to Coach Lou today at practice.
Is there a level of appreciation, like newfound appreciation that you've gotten this week, just getting a chance to do this again, prepare for a playoff series, like not just from what you've been through this season, but this is your 5th year here. Like, how have you kind of like felt just as far as like being in what you call your happy place yet again?
Yeah, it feels good. I mean, with all the stuff we had going on this season, Norm missing 15, 16, 17 games, Kawhi being out almost 50 games, and to be able to hold it down and get to this point where we're the 5th seed, it says a lot about our team, about our character. So I'm happy for these guys, like to put in the work every single day. Even when you had aches and pains like James and Zoo had and still played through them to get here, it means a lot. So it's big for our fans, it's big for our organization, like I said, big for our players. And so going to the playoffs, it always means something because you got a chance to win the championship.
I know you're not a guy who coaches makes.
I like that last part there. I like that last part.
For our players. And so going to the playoffs, it always means something.
Going to the playoffs always means something because you got a chance to win a championship.
I like Nikola who can pick you apart, pretty often. Like how do you gauge the, rotation and stuff like that, and making sure you're not leaving a guy out there too long if you're getting picked on or stuff like that?
Yeah, like you said, just reading the game, whatever the game calls for, and he's a tough cover. He puts you in a lot of tough situations. defensively. And, like I said, he can pick and pop three, comes off screens, comes off aways, pin downs. He posts up, so he's involved setting screens and pick and rolls. He's receiving pick and rolls. And so he just puts you in a lot of tough positions. And so we just got to stay the course. We know he's going to make some tough shots. We know he's going to do some amazing things. But we just got to make sure if our coverages are right, we're doing it the right way. We got to have the resolve and stick with it and stay with the game plan.
That's called good process. Even if he's hitting tough shots, even if he's doing amazing stuff, if your coverage is right, don't go away from it. Play the odds.
He's receiving pick and rolls, and so he just puts you in a lot of tough positions. And so we just got to stay the course. We know he's going to make some tough shots. We know he's going to do some amazing things. But we just got to make sure if our coverages are right and we're doing it the right way, we got to have the resolve and stick with it and stay with the game plan.
James was talking the other day about how, everybody's going to know what each other are doing over the course of the series. It's going to come down to, how you create your advantages and everything like that. Like, how much more do you put into saying, we need this play, we need that, we need that scheme? Like, how much of it is, installing a whole bunch of new stuff versus just play better?
Yeah, just play good. I don't think you have to install a lot of new stuff. I mean, some stuff you can do differently, tweak a few things here and there, but you don't want to come in with a whole new game plan when you've been playing so well, So until the first game, you don't know how they're going to try to attack us. They don't know how we're going to try to attack them, and then you got to see from there.
Got a question here from Jermaine who says Clippers in 5, but maybe 4. Adam, tell me what you think about this take. The league would be terrified if Clippers beat the Nuggets, Thunder, Lakers, and Celtics en route to this title. The league would be terrified if the Clippers beat all those teams to win the title. I'm not sure exactly what you mean. Oh, Kawhi and Harden would disrupt the narrative-based industry. I don't know. A lot of people are saying the Clippers have a real chance now to come out of the West. People have been saying this for a couple of weeks now. So the national media eventually caught up with where many of us have been locally here. The casuals now think they're the experts. I think if Kawhi and James Harden won a championship, it's not like the Clippers don't have star power. So I don't think this would put the league in a bad place if they ended up running through the West and running through Boston. I think a lot of people would say it's overdue.
Thank you.
That's very all right. We got Chris Dunn for you now. This was about an hour ago at practice.
So we were talking over the weekend about just getting back to the playoffs, getting a chance for you to contribute for really the first time. But this week of practice, what have you kind of appreciated about how you got to this point?
Just the growth over the years, the ups and downs, the injuries I battled through, the different organizations I've been in. And, I'm starting to gain momentum, and I think I'm in a good spot.
What's the key for you guys in this series?
Really just be us, play our best. I think once we do the things that we control and we do it at the best of our ability, we have a good chance to win.
Be us, be at our best. Do the things we can control. Sound answer about the key of the series.
What makes this team so special chemistry-wise?
I think everybody knows their role. I think everybody understands what they need to bring to the table. There's no confusion. And, we just go out there and play for each other, play hard. The coaching staff have a good game plan for us, and we try to go out there and execute.
Have you been on a team that likes each other?
Oh, yeah, absolutely, for sure. Even though that last year group in Utah, they were young, but it was a fun group. Everybody, like going out there and playing for each other.
What allowed you guys to buy the defense from the very beginning and to maintain that all season long?
Sorry, can you say it again?
What allowed you guys to buy into the defensive philosophy and maintain it for all 82 games?
Everybody's just buying in, honestly. We emphasize from training camp to now to, try to be one of the better defensive teams out there. And we put the work in each and every day. We dial into the film. We listen to the game plan, and, we got good defenders on this team.
I know. All right. Not a lot of in-depth stuff so far.
challenge in it is to do with Jokic and Murray and that pick and roll. Yeah. Back and forth.
I mean, they've been doing it for years. It's definitely going to be tough. We understand it's not going to be easy. But if we go out there and do what we do, I think we got a good chance.
The Jokic Murray pick and roll is an all-timer. Very, very difficult to stop. I did see it. Stopped once, and it was by the Clippers. This was December of 2023 last season. Kawhi was on Murray. Zubac was on Jokic. And they were able to disrupt their pick and roll at the end of the game.
That he's not necessarily your matchup, but as someone who watches a lot of film, there's tendencies. Where do you begin to address a guy like Jokic defensively?
It's going to be tough.
It was kind of just like...
Address a guy like Jokic defensively.
It's going to be tough. I think Zoo can tell you better than I can. But I think try to be physical with him. It's going to take, everybody, honestly. It's not just a one-on-one matchup type of thing because how well he passes. As a group, we have to lock in. We all have to be on the same page. And I think if we do that, I think we'll have a good chance.
Well, regarding Jamal, I know he's a guy he's made a lot of big shots in his career, but he's a guy who may struggle through a game and then have a big shot at the end there. How important is a full 48-minute effort or as close to that as possible in these series and guys who are veteran, savvy kind of guys?
Yeah.
Well, I like this question from Tomer because this is the truth. Jamal could be 3 of 13 and then in the fourth quarter go 5 for 5. He's that type of player.
I think any series, we have guys that can do that, and they have guys that can do that, and there's guys like that in the league. The league, they're just a bunch of good players, and they're going to keep firing their ball. And, Jamal Murray has done that. He made big shots in his career, and credit to him.
Have the coaches shared any points of emphasis from an officiating standpoint going into the series? I ask you because you're going to have to defend. It's going to be key for you to stay out of foul trouble and things like that. Like, how's that been as far as?
Terry asks, Adam, which one do you think is harder to stop? Jamal and Joker's 2-man game or James and Sue's 2-man game? To me, this one's easy. Jamal and Joker won a championship with their 2-man game. And Jokic can pick and pop. Zoo can't do that. That's not a hard question. Sorry, guys. I got to be objective here. I can't lie and be like, oh, James Harden and Ivica Zubac, their 2-man game's harder. No, it's not.
No, we don't talk about it, honestly. We just go out there and just be us and adapt to the situation.
What was this question?
Coaches shared any points of emphasis from an officiating standpoint going into the series? I ask you because you're going to have to defend. It's going to be key for you to stay out of foul trouble and things like that. Like, how's that been as far as preparing?
Oh, Law asking him point of emphasis from the coaches. Have you got coached up on what to do from an officiating aspect, how to stay out of foul trouble?
No, we don't talk about it, honestly. We just go out there and just be us and adapt to the situation. Thank you.
There's Chris Dunn. Now we got Bogey, I think. Yeah. Bogey ball, let's go.
So, Bogey, what if we saw you guys at a film day the first day, you guys scrimmaged yesterday. What was today all about for you guys, and what is this week of practice been like for you guys?
Same since I got here. Just locking on our stuff. Keep working, keep getting better. Working on our stuff and focus on our game.
You know Nikola from being able to play with him in high competition. I think this is the first time playing against him in the playoff setting. It's like preparing to play someone that been that close with him in basketball.
That's basketball at the end of the day. It's team sport, and I'm sure that not knowing him, I know he wants to play team style basketball, and I know it makes it difficult to guard and everything, but I think it's going to be a team basketball at the end of the day, and he wants to more. So, we are everybody. I'm sure there's a lot of guys that know each other from teams to teams, and they're friends, buddies, whatever. But when it's time to play basketball and there's 48 on the clock, we all zone in and we all try to win, no matter relationships, whatever. After the game, we can talk, but in the game, everybody's trying to win. Nobody is trying to win.
So when it's national.
Okay. We're not friends when we step on the court.
Same stuff, and you got single elimination goals. You've been in that locker room, Nikola, for that. What can you tell us about how he is in those moments compared to regular season NBA games per se?
I honestly think he approached every single game. He attacked every single game the same way. For him, there's no difference of moment, of the season or anything. For sure, there's that extra motivation how the competition is coming to the end. But I think his biggest quality is preparing the same way for every single game.
Jokic prepares the same way every single game, even with his knowledge of how he is during tournament play and international play.
Do you feel like you have a leg up on knowing some of what he does? Like, obviously, there's scouts here, JVG, good defensive team, but like, are there conversations about like, hey, I know he likes to do this or not likes to do that? Like, are there conversations about certain things that he might like to do and how you can kind of scout against that?
We are not trying to focus on that. As I said, they're a good team. Yeah, he makes them play better, but he needs the rest of the teammates as well. So, yeah, we talk about it obviously, but knowing game of basketball, it's 5-5 at the end of the day, and we will have to all lock in. It's going to be a 48 minutes game, big fight. So, we cannot focus on one stuff. And some players like that, they're great like that. There is no like tricks to stop them. You got to use multiple efforts. And we know each other for a while, right? Like not just me. We've been playing against these guys many games. So how they have him as unstoppable and other players could be unstoppable too. We have the guys that could be unstoppable too.
What's the key for you guys in this?
So Bogey being pretty coy with it, but Coach Lou did say earlier that they did pick his brain regarding Jokic and his tendencies since he's played with him so much with Serbia.
Mentally lock in since game one. No waste of possessions, and lock in our game, what we are trying to do.
All good? Thanks, Bogey.
Thank you.
No, we're good.
That's okay. Go on.
Well, one more. We've seen, the amount of guys on this team who can get their own buckets, get their own baskets in isolation, especially. Norm was talking yesterday about, isolation isn't about just you getting a bucket. It's about creating rotations, mismatches, finding other guys. What do you think the efficient level of offense that you guys have in isolation can kind of bring into a series like this?
I think just reading the game and being for your guys in the right spot, in the right position, in the right time, using advantage when you gain advantage, use it and keep it. Simple as that.
Thank you.
Thank you.
When you gain the advantage, use it and keep it. Okay, I want to go behind enemy lines here. I want to hear from David Adelman today, interim head coach for the Denver Nuggets. Hear what he had to say about this series.
But I'm happy for him. Year older, 24. Hell of a 24 years. So, but no, I think we have some cupcakes or something downstairs. So 24 is not exactly 21, 18, 30. So just 24.
Not a landmark birthday.
No.
Who turned 24 for them? Christian Brown? Peyton Watson? Yeah, I think Christian Brown is 24. Let me see what his birthday is. Yeah, April 17th. So he's talking about Christian Brown there. More from David Adelman. This was post practice today.
What do you think you possess? Why do you think you were well suited for this role as interim head coach and eventually become an NBA head coach?
Man, I think somebody else should answer that if they're going to hire me. But I imagine experience helps. Confidence, comes from experience. And, I've had a lot of it, even as a kid growing up in it and locker rooms and all those things. But in this situation, probably just the comfortable feeling between me and the players who know each other for a long time. So,
he's been here forever with Denver. He was in the bubble with them.
to the core guys, and then having a solid relationship with some of the newer guys because that was my job as the assistant coach. So leading them hasn't felt any different. I've said this before, behind closed doors, I ran a lot of the things in practice with Coach Malone's blessing, pre-games and all those things. So I would say 70% of what I'm doing I already was doing. and the other 30% I'm learning on the fly. So it's
70% of what I'm doing, I was already doing. The other 30%, I'm learning on the fly. Well, that's interesting.
already was doing, and the other 30% I'm learning on the fly. So it's you can't learn anything unless you actually go do it. So I'm doing the best I can.
Experience, the best teacher.
I'm trying to learn minute by minute because you have to be humble in this. And things that you try that are new, you have to know when to throw that away, or man, that might really work. Let's stick to that, and the players believe in it. So, yeah, I really mean that. Like, that's not for me to say. It's for me to do my job and somebody else to judge.
How did winning those 3 games last week help you and your team heading into the playoffs? Did it maybe sort of put to rest all the chaos or anything like that?
I mean, it got us in the playoffs, first of all, winning the 3 games. But, yeah, I don't know. It's a bunker mentality when things like that happen, because it's not the NFL. It's not 5 days of me talking to you before we play on Sunday. You're playing tomorrow. And so you have no choice but to move on quickly. You have emotions in the back of your head for these people you cared about and that you were with during all these winning times. I mean, I've known Calvin forever. Coach had the confidence in me all those years ago that I could do this. And in a weird way, you have to kind of put that to the side because what's happening is not going to stop. You can't ask to move the date of the game. So I've said this last week, when this is
trial by fire
over, I think I'll have a better emotional understanding of what this has all meant, including the players. But our job right now is to focus in on the challenges we have. And we did a great job last week of doing that.
Is it good to just return to normalcy? You know, everything about hooping, right? We talk about hooping, go out and practice, just really focus on the Clippers, and not talking about the stuff that doesn't happen with basketball.
It's funny you said that, because that's exactly what we said and what I talked about before the Sacramento game. It was, we can talk about coverages and adjustments, take care of the ball, all these things, got a defensive rebound to run, all the coaching cliches. But sometimes in sports, what you just said is true. You just got to go hoop. You got to go play. You got to clear your mind and get back to enjoying what you love doing. And in this league,
real hooper,
with all the money and the media and the TV, there is moments where you feel very convoluted in what you're doing. But this is a kid's thing, man. This is basketball. This is fun. And we have to maintain that attitude professionally. But like you said, the fun part of this is to go hoop and play together. And the experiences you've had together and the triumphs you've had with our core guys. So getting back into that headspace, I think, was important. And in a weird way, I think because we played the very next day, I think that helped in a way. Let's just get out and play. Because sometimes that's the best medicine for, feeling anxiety and strife and the things they're going through.
I got to respond to this from Thomas Ortega, who, I don't know if he's trolling. He says some wild stuff in here. Zoo will outplay Jokic like the way Hakeem did David Robinson. I like the confidence, but I guess we'll find out. Yeah, sure. Maybe.
Why led the Raptors to a championship?
Yeah.
You guys consider, if not the best, right there in the league. That's been a while. How's he look right now?
Closest thing to the
a question about Kawhi. How does he look right now compared to how he looked in 2019 with the Raptors?
Closest thing to that, as far as fluidity. I still thought he was completely dominant player in the bubble when we beat them, but a different kind of player, more in his spots, a little more rigid, and now he's a little more fluid like he was back then, and it allows him to move his feet better defensively, it allows him to get to his spots quicker offensively. So, yeah, this is a different version of him. We know that. I talked about him yesterday. I mean, he's an all-time player, Hall of Fame, first ballot Hall of Famer, regardless of the games he's missed and the injuries he's been through. I think we all remember what it was in San Antonio and how shocked we were at how good this guy was and the steps he took with them. And then, obviously, the very next step in Toronto where it really took off and they made that run. So it's going to be a challenge having both guys out there on the floor. You got to be responsible to the adjustments because they're going to be somewhere a lot. And Kawhi, like this fluid, we have to understand we have to get the spots quicker. This is not the guy we played in Orlando all those years ago.
Wow. That's high praise. That's interesting to me. A guy who's watched a ton of film on Kawhi, game planning for him and saying he's more fluid than he was the first year with the Clippers, movement-wise. Whoa. I didn't expect that. I didn't expect that answer. I thought I was just going to say, when he's healthy, he always looks great. But he's basically saying he looks younger. He looks more spry, like he has more pop, more juice, more athletic, more athleticism, more explosion. Whoa. That's high praise. I like it.
When you have a team that's so good in the half court, really on both ends, how important is it for you guys to really have a high transition game going to loosen things up kind of on either end?
Yeah, I mean, we won the championship. It was incredible that we took our fast break numbers in the regular season into the playoffs, which is really challenging because the games really slow down.
Yeah, that's a great point. Typically, you can't.
But I do think there's a commitment to running, and sometimes the statistics don't show how hard you're running offensively to push the pace a little bit. And if they're going to play a center like Zubac and some guys that play at a slow pace, you have to push them because their defense is great in the half court. And also, you have to be extremely active defensively because you got to find some easy points. And that's what they do really well in slow-paced games is they have those really active defenders. And you know what it's like, low possession games. If you can find a few layups here and there, or back in the day with Jeff and Bruce, a dunk here or there, CB does a great job of that. It goes a long way because the allotment of points is a lot different and the game's a lot tighter. So
they're really good at cutting to the basket and Jokic finding guys that way and them finding Jokic at times. He'll feign a screen and then just cut to the basket. They get some easy points out of that stuff. Remember, they score the most points within 5 feet of the basket. They have the highest 2-point percentage or second highest 2-point percentage in the league this year. This is what they do. They don't take a ton of threes. They get out in transition. They get easy points that way. So this is good insight from David Adelman here.
You're exactly right. Our commitment to running will be a big deal. And we're going to need a lot of help off our bench because doing that for the 5 guys that start, they can't do that for 42 minutes. They can do it.
Yes. No, they can't. It is a taxing style of play to run that much. So they will need their depth. Clippers should have an advantage there. We'll see.
Try to get him in the 30s. I don't know if that's going to happen, but you have to commit to the running, like you said, to make things easier on yourself.
A few games back, you had mentioned that it was a deliberate strategic choice to have the ball flow through Jokic a little bit less, just slightly less.
Yeah.
How much of that do you think frees him up to use more energy on the defensive end, and is that part of the thinking with that move?
It is, and it's also, I don't think it's possible to win what we want to win with him just going 1-on-3, 1-on-4.
This is interesting too. Running less of the offense through Jokic because it's too taxing. It'll wear him down. They're trying to make sure it's not all just Jokic. It's not sustainable.
Just going 1-on-3, 1-on-4. We are extremely confident in the other guys to make open shots. They have to shoot those shots, commit to them, and then that makes things easier for Nikola. I thought the Sacramento game was the greatest example of that. The numbers weren't what they were, but by the end they were. And that's what you want. You want the game to gradually come to him.
Less on Jokic's plate, less of a usage rating, less, bringing down his usage rating. Make the other guys a threat out there.
Let him read the game, and we can react from there. And that, honestly, on both.
To me, this says this is another reason why, Zoo, you got a one-on-one. Everybody else stay home. Because they're trying to get the other guys involved more now with David Adelman and making Jokic slightly less of a focal point.
We have to do things the right way where he's not always coming up and pick and roll. Can we cross-match him? Can we send somebody else up? Just assign someone else to go up with the pick and rolls. Things like that where it's not so many steps on both ends, if that makes sense. So, yeah, it's part of your job to protect him. And then I think it's also part of his job to trust his teammates, which he's done an unbelievable job of. It's not just the assist numbers, it's the open shots created. And in the playoffs, you can live and die with wide open shots. You have to. That's the way this thing works. I brought this up before. Some of the greatest teams of all time, you're going to remember their star players. But I know watching my father was the Lakers. You can talk about Kobe and Shaq all you want.
Oh, this is such a good point. Man, Rick Adelman is one of my favorite coaches ever, and he's talking about that Lakers series versus the Kings. Fisher, Horry, Fox, the shots that they made.
I remember their star players, but I know watching my father lose to the Lakers, you can talk about Kobe and Shaq all you want. It was Derek Fisher, Rick Fox, and Robert Ory. Those
Did I tell you? Did I guess it? I have not reviewed this sound. I gave you the 3 guys he was going to bring up that really burned the Kings in that series besides the refs.
guys made shots. That's why it loosened the game up for Kobe and Shaq. So you need that. You need that from your team, and I have great confidence in these guys that they can do it.
Damn, I hate this answer. This is really smart. They want to be more balanced, less reliant on just using Jokic. He knows they got to get the other guys involved, and they're going to have to hit shots, and you're going to have to live and die with those shots. Meaning they're trying to have that balance of Jokic getting his and also getting the assists, which is a problem. The Clippers would rather have him be one or the other. They know what they're doing here.
Is that a conversation, though, that you had with Nikola beginning and maybe even throughout, just saying, hey, I think this is best, and taking the ball out a little bit of your hands?
Yeah, we talked about, just because
I did not already watch this interview, Bastian. F off. You're in timeout. I'm so tired of this troll. I may just block him from the channels. I had not watched this yet.
He's so big on just shoot it, just shoot it, just shoot it. And I think the guys have to give him the feeling that I want it. Like, throw me the ball and shoot it confidently. But the other part of that is there's trends. And we're seeing more of this basically triple team wherever he is. And more teams are watching other teams that have done that, and they're trying to implement it. Now,
the Lakers did it against them to great success. Just triple teaming Jokic, doubling him before he even got the ball in his hands.
They have the roster to do it, like we saw some of these other teams do. I don't know. We'll see when we get out there. But
do they have the roster to do it the way other teams have? Honestly, they shouldn't have to the way other teams do, because if Ivica Zubac is a good enough defender, and then if they want to shade over one other guy, that's fine here and there. But they should let Zoo get his shot one-on-one with Jokic. Stay home on everybody else.
To do it, like we saw some of these other teams do, I don't know. We'll see when we get out there. But yeah, it's one thing trust, it's one thing conversation, and a whole nother thing. You have to react to what other teams do schematically.
I don't think, to Not Too Bad's point here, and because his name is Not Too Bad.
Hey, what's up, buddy? How are you tonight? Not too bad, I hope. Not too bad, I hope. Not too bad, I hope.
I don't think this is a huge adjustment with just taking the usage rating down a little bit with Jokic to get the other guys involved more. He already gets them involved a lot. Just lean into it a little bit more. I think this is smart by Denver.
Yeah, yesterday you talked about connectivity a little bit.
Yeah.
How much of that do you have to continue to drill home? Because it feels like they're talking more just over those 3 games. Or, re-emphasize, or you just rely on it to happen because it's so important there. Dialogue to the connectivity, at least on defense.
Yeah, and it's continued through these practices, and it's really important because you're going to be in really tough moments. We can't call timeout and powwow every time something doesn't go our way. And today was really good. We had a scout team out there. We were a little sloppy, turned the ball over, which was a good thing for us because we're going into a tough game. We haven't played in a while. And to see the guys talk, communicate, be okay with someone saying, you got to get to your spot quicker. We got to space better than that. And then on the defensive end, doing different things we may show in the series, it not going well all the time. And then guys really getting on each other about, got to be more attentive to what we're doing, be there earlier for me. That stuff is good because you can't, you don't want to go into these huge games where anxiety is so high and now you're having that conversation. You have to get ahead of conversations like that. And if we can do that and be consistent with it, it obviously helps the process.
Damn. David Adelman. I like him just like I liked his father.
Starters are obviously going to play more, but how comfortable do you feel right now in terms of how far you can go into your bench? How much do you see that as kind of a game-by-game thing with certain minutes?
I think it's game by game. I also think what we found out over the years is how the schedule breaks down matters. And you're going to get that. Those first 2 games feels like a marathon, and then you do get the 2 days. And that does make you reassess. And obviously you're talking to the medical staff about where guys are at. It's not a time to be stupid. But the good thing is I see a lot of confidence with the players we have coming off our bench throughout this whole week. And now they have a little bit of experience underneath their belt. Obviously, Jalen does not. But Jalen got to play in some big games. And I mean this, the Sacramento game felt like a playoff game. And he seemed very comfortable in it.
Jalen Pickett.
And his shot's been falling this week. And so you have to rely on those guys. And you guys all know this, how the playoffs are. It may only be for 4 minutes. It may be a 4-minute run. So give me everything you got for 4 minutes. Be as clean as you can be as confident as you can be. When you're open, shoot the ball, test yourself defensively, live on that side of aggression. And it's okay, because fail or succeed, somebody else is coming back in. So give it everything you have with the minutes that you're going to get. And if we can do that, I think that'll help us succeed.
Thank you, Coach. Thank you.
Damn it. David Adelman gets it. This guy's good.
That sucks.
Oh, man. Everything he said, completely agree with. They're going about this the right way. Other guys, they know that if it's just Jokic, they're going to have a tough time winning the series. It's got to be the others. Him referencing that Kings-Lakers series, it wasn't just Kobe and Shaq. It was Fox and Fisher and Horry. And those are horrifying thoughts for me, somebody from Sacramento. But David Adelman, I got to give him credit. That was a great press conference, and he killed it there. His philosophy is on point. So to get more intel on the Denver Nuggets, we bring in Harrison Wind from DNVR Sports, a Denver Nuggets podcast. Is the wind at the back of the Denver Nuggets, or can the Clippers be a headwind for the Denver Nuggets, as we have Harrison Wind here with us on Clippers Talk? Harrison, thanks so much for doing this. I really appreciate it.
For sure, man. Thanks for having me.
So I just reviewed the post-practice audio from now interim coach David Adelman. I got to say, as a head coach, you expect him to be a high IQ guy, but his philosophies, everything he was preaching, and specifically that tweak of not making everything about Nikola Jokic and having too high of a usage rating on him and getting the others involved, that seems to be a very critical talking point heading into this series from him. That was really interesting to me. Just tell me about that adjustment and how severe or how drastic you think it'll be versus just a minor tweak maybe. I lost you, Harrison. I don't know where your audio went. It was there.
There we go.
I got you.
Okay. It's so interesting, man, because something that was happening, this season a lot, and especially right before Michael Malone was fired, was that it was really just Nikola Jokic versus the 5 defenders on the court. It was really just like Jokic versus the world. And like the Nuggets offense had dissolved into this thing where they were just like running a Jokic post up every play in the fourth quarter, like most plays in the second half. And it just wasn't healthy offense. It wasn't, going to lead this team forward. So Adelman's definitely come in and been like, yeah, it's not like we want to totally, drop down Jokic's touches drastically, but maybe we want to spread the ball around a little more. Like maybe we want to get back to trusting guys to make shots, because it really did seem like there was this dissolving of trust with a lot of the role players with this team this season, and that's another reason why everything was just like getting more and more centered around Jokic. So yeah, Adelman's come in and he's been very clear about like, yeah, I'm sure in the fourth quarter of a game 7 or a playoff game, it's going to be Jokic, but we've got to get back to trusting each other and spreading the ball around a little more.
Harrison Wind from DNVR Sports Network is our guest here on Clippers Talk as we get set for Saturday, Game 1 in Denver. Clippers taking on the Nuggets in this opening round series. Was that where a lot of the criticism came from on Mike Malone? Some people were like, oh, he's a Jokic merchant. But if you look at the on-off splits, if Jokic is off the floor, they wouldn't even be a play-in team. They were that bad. Was he just overly reliant on him to the point where people are wondering, well, what is he doing exactly? Is this Jokic's team, or is Mike Malone really having an effect here?
Yeah, I think they were a little over-reliant on him. But that's kind of just also how this season developed. Obviously, like Michael Malone could never really form together, not even just a solid bench, but a bench that was a ±0, with Jokic off the court for like stretches throughout the last 5 years. It just hadn't happened. And the Nuggets, they did kind of evolve into just, this Jokic machine, which is good. But I think what we saw last year and what we saw for parts of this season was like, that's obviously going to wear on the guy. He can't do that for 82 games and then 16 games to win a championship. The year they won the championship in 2023, they were leading the West by so much. They were pretty much the Oklahoma City of that year. They coasted into the playoffs that year and everybody was energized and ready to go. But just the formula they were using where, it's Jokic every single play, it wasn't going to hold up. And I just feel like everybody realized that. And Michael Malone didn't.
What was your level of shock of the timing of the firing of Mike Malone and Calvin Booth? And do you think it could have the desired effect of just lighting a fire underneath this team and squeezing all the juice they have left out of this era?
Yeah. So I was obviously surprised that it happened when it did. I think the assumption was unless they made a, miraculous run to the finals, these were moves that were going to happen the second the season ended. That was just kind of the way it was trending. And everybody here, knew the story. The secret had been out about Michael Malone and Calvin Booth didn't like each other. They did not see eye to eye on really that much at all basketball wise. They both had very different philosophies about how to build a team and how a team. And we all knew about that conflict for the last couple years. And I don't think that marriage was ever going to be able to stay intact. I think those two always had an expiration date. I just thought it would probably come at the end of the season when they lost in, the second round or whatever it might be. So definitely surprised at the timing. The more you learn about the situation, it seems like it kind of had to be done to maybe save this season. But it was going to happen after the year, most likely. And I think ownership looked at it and said, if we don't make any changes, this season's probably done. If we do make a change right now, most likely, we're not winning a championship, but at least we have a chance to make something of it.
How much of that inner turmoil that the Athletic report spoke to regarding Russell Westbrook do you buy into? How big of a sticking point was that between guys within the own locker room feeling like Mike Malone was giving him a longer leash than everybody else? And is that something David Adelman's going to go against with maybe Jalen Pickett playing more in this series?
I think, the Russell Westbrook story this year has been so fascinating because the first half of the season, he was incredible. Like Russell Westbrook was amazing the first half of the season. He won the Nuggets 5 games, when Jamal Murray was in and out of the lineup. He had an injury right before the All-Star break and hasn't really been the same since. And yeah, I think just having Russell Westbrook on your team, it just creates stuff that a lot of people outside the organization talk about. And there's just divisive things that come with them that seep into an organization as well. And, you either like him or you hate him. I think the Nuggets locker room really likes Russell Westbrook. I think his playing time has been something that people have raised eyebrows around. The front office definitely did. But I don't think it's really been an issue inside the locker room, or I don't think it's been as big of an issue as it's been painted as. It's definitely been something. But I don't think it was at the forefront of why this change was made. I don't think it's 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5 if you're listing the 5 biggest reasons why Michael Malone and Calvin Booth or the locker room kind of fell apart. I don't think it's there. I think Adelman's just going to play the 5 best guys, though. He's kind of said, screw locker room and NBA politics. I'm just going to play the 5 best guys. That's why Jalen Pickett closed that first game against the Kings. That's why Russell Westbrook played a predominant role in, the next 2 games. So I think he's just going to play who's playing better.
How much faith do you have in terms of the depth on this Denver Nuggets team? That's been a big talking point. Oh, the Clippers are deeper. The Denver Nuggets bench is unreliable. Is there something Clippers fans should know about their bench? Because I've looked at scenarios where maybe you guys aren't guarding well enough defensively with the starters. Could somebody like Peyton Watson be injected into the starting lineup to help out in that area, just bringing his defense? Is that a possibility?
I think things would have to get pretty dire for them to change up their starting lineup. They're pretty locked into the 5 they've got. But Peyton Watson is the one guy off the bench that could take on like a really significant role in the series. I think Westbrook might do that as well. I think that could have a positive or negative effect on the Nuggets. But Watson's definitely, the under the radar guy, defense, can block a lot of shots at the rim, that weak side rim protection. 6'9", long, athletic. Like he is a guy who can definitely inject himself into a series, specifically if the Nuggets just can't stop a Kawhi Leonard and you go, all right, we just need Peyton Watson to play a lot more. That's definitely a guy that Michael Malone and Calvin Booth did not see eye to eye about, along with Jalen Pickett. But yeah, if you're looking for an under-the-radar guy, it's Peyton Watson.
Is Christian Brown maybe the X factor for you guys with the way he can get out in transition, but also if his three-point shooting can hold up in a series like this because he has had a really good year from the outside?
Yeah, I think so. I think he's a great candidate to be an X factor. What's going to be really interesting is he makes so much of his money in transition. I mean, I think he's, top 3 in the league in transition points per game still. And it's like Giannis, him, and,
It
somebody
might be
else
Norman
like
Powell
that.
or Amir Coffey from the Clippers, honestly. But I think Brown was number 1 by the end of the year.
Yeah. And, usually in the playoffs, you get less transition opportunities. The game slows down a bit. So it's going to be interesting to see, can he still have that big of an impact if he's not getting those same opportunities? I think a lot of it could come down to the three-point shot, though. He's a guy who this season, he's seen his confidence, I think, come and go with the 3. Earlier in the season, he was really confident. And then it was just kind of peaks and valleys from there. And I got to think if I'm the Clippers, he's definitely a guy you leave open and you just make him beat you from 3. And you probably just wonder, all right, is he going to be a confident shooter this series or not? And you just kind of go from there. And then defensively with him, he's got to be able to guard Harden, Leonard. Like he's got to be able to be better defensively this season or this series than he's been this season. He's slipped a little there from where he was
Is
last
Aaron Gordon a guy you can no longer leave open from 3? Do you believe in that 44% three-point shooting carrying over to the playoffs?
I don't think he's going to shoot 44%, but he is definitely a much improved shooter from where he was, last year. You trust the shot a lot more. He's cleaned up a lot with his mechanics and whatnot. He also lives literally in a gym. I don't know if you've ever seen photos of his house. He has a basketball court like in the middle of his house. It's pretty crazy.
Real hooper.
But he literally lives in the gym. But no, his shot is more real than you probably think. I don't think he's going to shoot 44%, but in a catch and shoot situation, I'm probably more confident in him than Christian Brown.
What is his level of health? Also Jamal Murray's, because those are two things that I've been wondering about, how long, because I think Aaron Gordon played 54 games this season, and right as Jamal Murray was looking much better, the hamstring injury came up over the last couple of weeks. So where are they at health-wise?
So Aaron Gordon's whole season has been just mired by injuries. I mean, that's been the storyline of his year. Lower body stuff. He's been banged up pretty much the whole season. He's had a really inconsistent year. And I think that's a reason why his defense has taken a huge step back. Like Aaron Gordon was the Nuggets' best defender, I think, last year. He hasn't been anything close to that this year. And I think it's been a big reason why the Nuggets defense overall has been an embarrassment. He just has not been healthy. I think he's healthier now than he's been for a lot of the year. I don't think he's 100%. He's had this calf strain that I think everybody acts like he's over, but I think it's still kind of there. So I don't think he's at his peak form, but he can play through it. He can battle. I think he'll be fine. Jamal's the one that's going to probably determine the series. I mean, how good Jamal Murray is in the playoffs has shaped every Nuggets season, for the last 5 years. That's the question it always comes down to. And his season has, been hit with a lot of injuries, little stuff here and there, but that stuff piles up. The word is he looks really good right now. They've had a bunch of time off here. They still have, today and tomorrow off before the game on Saturday. The word out of the Nuggets practice gym is he does look good. He looks rested. He looks quick. I think this break has been really good. And how healthy he is probably determines who wins the series.
2 more questions for you here, Harrison. I'm not going to show this to Coach Lou. I don't think any of the players watch this show. From your perspective, what is the best way to go about guarding Nikola Jokic? If you were scouting and telling a team this is what you should do to try to slow him down, and you can say specifically using these Clippers players since we know the matchup, but how would you go about stopping Jokic?
You try to foul him every play and make the refs call it. That's what the Lakers did in that one game that JJ Redick stayed up 48 hours to game plan for earlier this season. Their strategy was, we're going to triple team him and just foul the heck out of him and make the refs call it. There's no great defense against Jokic. The Timberwolves have had a good strategy, I think, over the last couple of years in terms of using just their size and length. Guard him with Towns, have Gobert as the weak side shot blocker who comes over at the last second on a Jokic post up. That stuff has been effective here and there. If I'm the Clippers, to be honest, you want to throw a lot of different looks at him. I think you obviously start with Zubats on him and pray he can stay out of foul trouble, because I really don't know what happens if he does get in foul trouble. And I think you just have to throw different looks at him. You put a small guy on him sometimes. You show Derek Jones with his length. I feel like he's got to play a huge factor on him. But you just mix up the looks. And then, like it worked for the Lakers, you hope they don't call fouls, which happens a lot.
Fair enough. What's the pulse of the city and Nuggets fans? How do they feel about this matchup? Are they confident? Are they kind of thinking, oh, there's too many unknowns? This team season was about to be over, and now it's the playoffs. Can they turn it on? Can they find a way? What's their level of hope right now in this series?
When Michael Malone got fired, it was such a shot in the heart to the fan base because Nuggets fans absolutely love Michael Malone. He's been the voice of this team for the last 10 years. How much shit he talks in the media, how much he went to battle for his guys, how much he stood up for Jokic, and how much he hated the Lakers as well. That meant a lot to the city. The city really embraced him for that. So it was really tough for a lot of Nuggets fans when he got fired. Now, granted, those fans don't know the inside stuff about the fact that he probably needed to get fired earlier in the season. And it's not, they shouldn't know that stuff. But I just feel like when that happened, the air kind of went out of the Nuggets season. I don't think a lot of people had a lot of hope heading towards that moment and when that moment happened, when Michael Malone got fired. I do think this 3-game winning streak has inspired a little bit of hope. It has gotten people a little more excited again. It has gotten people believing. But I don't think people here necessarily feel, complete confidence going into this matchup, just because the last 82 games have been so rocky. It's been a tough season here. Yeah, Nikola Jokic has pieced together, arguably the greatest individual season in NBA history. Other than that, it's been a really trying year with a lot of ups and downs, and then, that firing at the end of the season. So I feel like this fan base doesn't quite know what to think right now.
Well, what do you think? Final question here, Harrison, about this Clippers team from the outside looking in. What's your viewpoint on them, and what's your series prediction?
Yeah, I got a lot of respect for this Clippers team. I mean, obviously they've been playing great. Kawhi's been playing great. James Harden is a guy that Nuggets fans are terrified of. from his days with the Rockets. The Rockets were always the team that killed Denver every single time they matched up. It was just the hard ISO and then the Capella lob. The Nuggets could never stop that for years. That was like our kryptonite here. So I still have some of those, nightmares about Harden in the back of my mind. But I'm picking Nuggets in 6. I feel like it could go 7 for sure. I think it's going to be a tough series. I'm kind of scared of the Clippers coaching staff as well. Like, Ty Lue's a great coach. Jeff Van Gundy on the bench, that's a great defensive assistant. And you look at Denver on the other side, I think David Adelman's a very good coach as well. I think if he doesn't get the Nuggets job, he's going to get another job somewhere else this summer. But first-time head coach in the playoffs, a staff that's kind of all getting new roles. So it's a tough matchup for sure. I just have to go with you've got the best player in the world. And I don't think the Clippers have a great formula to stop him, because if you got Zubats in foul trouble, where do they turn?
Nico Batum's our second best defender against Jokic. And
there was that game years ago where that was one of the first times the team threw a small on Jokic and, threw a lot of bodies at him that way.
I think he's going to see time against Jokic. Kawhi will a few possessions here and there. Ben Simmons will a little bit too. So, yeah, I don't know if Drew Eubanks is going to see the floor in this series against Denver for the Clippers. They'll likely go small a little bit to spell Zoo.
I would not do that if I was Ty Lue. I would not do that.
What, Drew Eubanks or going small?
Eubanks.
Oh, I think he agrees with you.
that would be like when Spoelstra went to Cody Zeller in the finals, in the third quarter, and it was like a 10-0 run.
Yeah, that's barbecue chicken for sure. Jokic is too good. Harrison, I really appreciate the conversation and the intel from the Denver Nuggets side. Again, he's Harrison Wynn. Follow him at Harrison Wynn on X. Does it for the DNVR Sports Network. Covers the Denver Nuggets, has been for some time. Harrison, thanks so much for joining me here on Clipper Stock.
No problem, man. Thanks for having me.
Appreciate it. All right. What do you guys think about that? I thought that was pretty cool. Hearing from first, we go from David Adelman press conference right to Harrison Wynn there. I did not know how much James Harden terrified the Denver Nuggets. I know his record against them. I know he's been good, but a little behind enemy lines for you. And if you guys want to get on and keep the conversation going, otherwise I'm out of here. I'm getting hungry. 877-520-1150. If you guys want to get on and give a prediction on what you think of this series, and thanks again to Harrison Wynn for the information there regarding the Denver Nuggets. And it sounds like Aaron Gordon, the big injury update on him is he has been feeling better as of late, but Harrison still thinks there's something lingering. And Jamal Murray, it sounds like he's been feeling much better. So that's a little bit scary. And yeah, I agree with him. Jamal Murray means so much to this series. And if he's not right, the Clippers should be able to win. And I do have them winning in 6. But I could see from the other side, there's a case to be made that the Denver Nuggets could win in 6 games. 877-520-1150 is the phone number.
I don't know. What did the numbers say?
Well, the number is 877-520-1150 if you guys want to call in. Who is this saying I'm getting chili cheese fries tonight? I hope not. I'm trying to eat clean. It's the playoffs. I got to get it together here. It's really a fascinating matchup. And if you missed the video earlier, I went on Rogan and Rodney on AM 570 LA Sports. You can watch that prediction I made and analysis I did for this series and also the Lakers Timberwolves series on Rogan and Rodney on AM 570 a little bit earlier. It's in the video section here if you guys want to check that out. But I think you can talk yourself into either team winning this series, which tells you how close it may be. But if you were to say, because Justin Rousseau last night on Clips and Dips said Clippers in 5, if this series were going to end in 5 games, I would think that would mean the Clippers would be the team winning in 5 games. I would lean towards them being able to end a series in 5 games between these two teams. I don't think Denver could end it in 5 games against the Clippers. I hope. Free TV's in here trolling, as always. He said Nuggets in 5. Free TV said keep up the streak until the final game. I mean, that's my goal, barring anything unforeseen. I think the streak will continue here on Clippers Talk, because I feel like if I didn't do a show now, people would be like, oh, Adam jinxed the Clippers. He broke the streak, and now the Clippers are losing.
We're going streaking! Yeah!
Get some food and rest until tomorrow. Not too bad, I hope. Said, to be honest, Adam, I was more confident before hearing your guest break it down. I was too, especially before hearing David Adelman also. And them knowing that they have to get the other guys involved. It's not an option just for Jokic to win this series by himself against the Clippers. They seem to be very aware of that. Jokic can't do it himself. The others have to be involved. And that's the right mindset. Honestly, that's smart on Denver's part. I got to give him credit there. That scares the hell out of me. They know they need the others to do damage. They need guys to hit shots. Like, as good as Jokic is, I don't think he alone can beat the Clippers. They will need some other guys to shoot well from the outside consistently. That's a little bit scary to me. They have the right recipe. They know what it's going to take. Ooh. F said, I did not like hearing how good the young Nuggets have been playing. Robert said, got 2 more months of daily Clippers talk. Because I said, I'm not stopping till the season stops, so it looks like he's predicting them being in the finals. Woo! I like that prediction. Do you guys want to hear from Michael Porter Jr., or do we not want to hear any more from the Denver Nuggets side? So otherwise, I'm going to end the show and get some food, unless somebody wants to call in. 877-520-1150. 877-520-1150. Wow, somebody's saying Clippers in 4. We're never losing again. All right, man. I don't know. I don't know about that one. Even if they have the eye of the tiger, I don't know if never losing again is on the table.
Cause it's that eye of the tiger. Yeah, I don't know the rest of the words right now, but shit.
Somebody else saying a longer series. What did they say there? A longer series favors them. Well, yeah, a game 7 at home. I wouldn't like that. 877-520-1150 is the phone number. Somebody just called in. Welcome to Clippers Talk, mystery caller. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hello?
Yep. We got you. This is Adam Moslem. What's your name? Where are you calling from? Mystery caller. Can you hear us? Mystery caller. You got us?
Yes, sir. How you doing today?
I'm good. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Jonathan from the ATL.
Jonathan from Atlanta. What's good, Jonathan?
Yes, sir. Not much, man. Just having some tacos here, some huevos con chorizo. No.
Well, now you're making me hungry. I'm going to stop doing the show right now. I already said if nobody's calling in. No, do your thing. What do you want to say about this series?
Man, I think we're going to win in 5. You're going to win that first game.
Woo.
They're going to win the second. And, well.
Wait. They're going to win both games? Games 1 and 2 in Denver?
No, we're going to. Oh, yeah, you're right. No, we're going to win the first one. They're going to win the second one, and we're going to win the rest.
Okay. So they get the sweep after splitting the opening 2.
Sweep.
I don't think that's that crazy. I do think game 1 is a must for this Clippers team.
Yeah.
Set the tone.
Yes. We're gonna go in. We're gonna go in. We're gonna attack Murray. We're gonna we're gonna wear him down, man.
I
And
think
we're gonna wear down Joker.
Jamal Murray, depending on how healthy he is somebody you have to target a lot. And if he is guarding Norman Powell, I love that matchup for the Clippers, and he should be. Norman Powell torched him in that game in Denver in the fourth quarter early in the season. Destroyed him. So I don't think you're that far off. A little bit more confident than me because you're saying Clippers in 5, and I got the Clippers in 6. But to do Clippers in 5, it's got to be them winning game 1.
Yes, sir. We're gonna win that first game. Harden's gonna kill them. Pick and roll all game.
All right. Anything else, Jonathan? Any other matchups you're looking forward to? You don't worry about Nikola Jokic?
I do a little bit, but it's not 5 against 1, man. It's 5 against 5.
Fair enough. I like it. Jonathan,
He's not gonna.
don't make this your last call here on Clippers Talk, all right?
All right, man. Take care.
Nice talking with you.
Bye-bye.
Jonathan from Atlanta there. We got another caller here, 877-520-1150. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Christopher from Los Angeles.
What's up, Christopher? How you been?
Hey, I've been great. I have my son with me down here in LA. He lives in Clovis, California. But I know there's another Christopher somewhere in Los Angeles. So from now on, when I call in, I'll introduce myself as Clipper Chris.
Clipper Chris it is. Clipper Chris, how you feeling after listening to David Adelman and then our guy from Denver here break it down? Like I think Harrison Wynn brought up some really good points.
Yeah. So I wanted to mention when I called you last Sunday. I mean, during this season, I kind of felt ashamed of myself because I have a ton of Clipper T-shirts, and during the season, whenever there's a game on, I wear one of my shirts. I probably didn't wear a shirt for half the season, and the shirt I was wearing on Sunday, it said "Fasten your seatbelts."
The old Ralph Lawler.
Yeah, and I think that was maybe like a giveaway shirt at a playoff game I went to years ago.
Do you think that is maybe a little bit of foreshadowing going into this series? Buckle up because this is going to be a wild one.
Yeah, I mean, I felt that way going into that Golden State game. It's like, oh, this is going to be a barn burner.
Yeah, I could see it being that way, but I'm almost starting to talk myself into the Clippers ending this series quickly, but I won't do it. I'm sticking with Clippers in 6 because
I feel the same way about that too.
Clipper Chris, the one thing I worry about late in games, Jokic and Jamal Murray are clutch time gods. They are so good in close games. They are so unstoppable in those moments. And they have a longer track record over the last 5 years of doing that stuff and doing it more often, more consistently than Kawhi and James Harden. They have a better late game track record than the Clippers do. I think it's fair to say.
Yeah, and also every time when I do watch any Clipper game, be it regular season, playoff, to me, 2 important things that will happen during the game. I look at the free throw shooting and staying out of foul trouble.
Well, let me tell you something. The Denver Nuggets average the most free throw attempts per game this season. That's scary to me too. It's their free throw shooting, their offensive rebounding, and their transition buckets. Those are 3 key things to me. The Clippers have to be aware of that. They are, but sometimes you can be aware of it, and it doesn't matter. They're too good. We'll see. Anything else, Clipper Curse?
Yeah, and also I might as well let you know I've never really told you anything about me, but I actually sold my soul to the Clippers. It was the first to last game of the 2001 season against Minnesota, and I got to the game early, and at the time it was Staples Center. and there were about 2/3 of the arena was full, and they were making a lot of noise. It's like, man, the game hasn't even started. And these people are making all this noise, and it's like I was just sold at the atmosphere and said, shoot, I'll just start coming to Clipper games now. And that's how I became a diehard Clipper fan.
Do you know who won that game and by what score?
Yes.
I have the score in front of me.
I remember it was a blowout, and I was even tempted to go to the last game. I think it was against the Suns.
Yep.
But I didn't, and the Clippers lost badly, I think. But, I mean, that first game I went by myself was the greatest.
Well, they beat Minnesota in that game 111-105.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Do you know who was the highest scorer for the Clippers in that game?
I don't remember.
Eric Pikowski led them with 26. He went 5 of 5 from 3, the Polish rifle.
Uh-huh.
That's pretty wild.
Yeah, and the next time I call you, I don't know if you're doing this every day, but I do have this blue Clipper shirt with that team, and it has a silhouette of all the names. So it's like I'll have to pull it out and read the names to you next time I call you.
All right, Clippers, Chris, you sold your soul for this team. I hope it pays off with the championship because
I've felt it in my bones ever since Ralph Lawler said in his retirement. I feel multiple championships in this team, even though it won't be the same players. Eventually, it's going to happen. It happened with the Angels back in 2002 in baseball
against my Giants. Thanks, Dusty Baker.
Yeah.
Chris, I appreciate the phone call. We'll talk soon, huh?
Okay. Go Clippers.
There goes Clippers, Chris. We got somebody else online. 877-520-1150. What's your name? Where are you calling from? You're on Clippers Talk with Adam Osland.
Hey, Adam, just BK calling from Sacramento.
BK, the king is returned. What's up?
Yes, sir. I just wanted to at least give my input. I just want to let everyone know to please calm down on the Clips in 5, Clips in 4. Denver is a really, really good team. I mean, they fired their GM and head coach, but I mean, they were still top 3 the entire season. They have Jokic, who's been fantastic all season. They have Jamal Murray, yet coming off an injury, still borderline all-star. Aaron Gordon. And I think their X factor for this series would be MPJ. So I just want to tame everyone's expectation. Denver is a really, really good team.
No, I think it's good to stay grounded and recognize, there are some Denver Nuggets fans that are also like, oh, Nuggets in 4, Nuggets in 5. And you would say they're crazy. But we got Clippers fans saying Clippers in 4 or 5, and they're going to say they're crazy. So you can be too close to the situation sometimes and forget there's another team out there with great players, including the best player in the league. You got to remember that.
Yeah, very true. Very true. I mean, there's always going to be bias either way. I think it's just my opinion as a Clipper fan that I'm going to expect a very long series, 6 to 7 games at least. And I do agree with you. Setting the tone on the first game is quite important. If we win, that's a big plus. But setting a tone, if we make it a very close game, even if we lose, is very important to determine how the series will go.
Well, people in the chat are now like, hey, Clippers in 4. They're still saying it. They don't care.
Oh, no. Oh, no. Okay. Well, another point. What really scares me is the second lineup coming off the bench with James Harden, Ben Simmons, Bogey. The last game versus the Warriors, there were a lot of turnovers there. I find that they have a hard time scoring the ball with just that lineup alone. Because when they take out Kawhi and Zoo, it's very hard. What's your input on that?
Oh, you mean like end of the third quarter lineup?
I think it was after
end of the first, end of the
near
third.
the end of the first. Yeah, exactly. Where they had consecutive turnovers, and when Ben gave up a wide open layup in which he passed, that was quite frustrating as well.
Jimmy Butler was hunting him out. He had a defensive miscue. Yeah, I do have concerns, but I think still, like, the Clippers bench has to be better than Denver's bench in this series, or they likely will lose. They have to win the non-Jokic minutes. If Jokic is only off the floor for 4 or 5 minutes in a ball game, Clippers got to win those minutes, period, and go +5 or something. You know, that is a huge advantage. And actually, in that game against Golden State, they won the Steph Murray's. They won the Steph Murray's. The Steph Curry minutes. They lost the non-Steph Curry minutes because of that run at the end of the first quarter into the second with Jimmy Butler going off. So, yeah, I agree with you. They have to be better. But there should always be 2 of these 4 players on the court at all times. Kawhi, Harden, Zoo, Norman Powell. 2 of those guys should be on the court at all times.
Yeah, and I hope we have early season Norm playing in this series. With him in this lineup with James Harden, I assume nearing the end of the first would be vital for us, for him to be able to score and put pressure on them following on us. So I hope we get Norm back. So.
That is a key to this series. Norman Powell has to be efficient, and he's been good against Denver. So I just don't think they have a guy to guard him. If Aaron Gordon's on Kawhi and Christian Brown is on James Harden, who's guarding Norman Powell? Is it going to be Michael Porter Jr.? Is it going to be Jamal Murray? Either guy, he should have the quickness advantage on. They shouldn't be able to hang with him defensively. So that, I think, is a big key to this series as well. Like, if Norman Powell is cooking, that's how you get Clippers in 5, I think.
Yeah, I agree. One thing that I do notice that you see evident on the Warriors game was that they were hunting Bogey. Jimmy Butler was, and some teams will hunt against James Harden too. My question to you is, why don't the Clippers do the same? Well, why won't we do the same against Jamal Murray? We know his defense is quite bad. I don't see it as often. I see a lot of ISO plays, but I don't see any screens and hunting on the offensive side from our team. Or am I wrong? What's your input on that?
Maybe not quite as much, but yeah, I do think you're wrong. They were hunting out Steph Curry at times in that game against Golden State. They do a lot of matchup hunting as well. I see it. I see it plenty. They'll be doing it in this series. Don't worry about that. So yes,
I hope so.
It was extreme with Bogey against Jimmy Butler. It really stood out. All right, BK, anything else?
That's it. Thank you. Thanks for taking my call, Adam. I appreciate it.
All right, BK, be good. Clippers, game 1 in Denver, Saturday. Tip off at 12:30, pregame show at 11:30. This has been 195 straight days of Clippers talk for you guys.
Woo!
Thanks again to Harrison Wind for coming on. Follow him at Harrison Wind, especially a good follow during this playoff series. Covers the Denver Nuggets for the DNVR Sports Network. I'm Adam Osland. We will talk to you guys tomorrow with a special guest from Denver. I won't tell you who it is. You'll find out. I don't know what time it's happening either, but just hit that little alarm bell and you'll be notified every time we start a new episode of Clippers Talk. Or maybe, can I just make this the alarm bell?
Get out there, Ben, and put that shit up. No, put it up, Ben.
It'd be great if every time we start an episode, your device started saying,
put it up, Ben.
That's your ringtone?
Put it up, Ben.
For Clippers Talk?
Put it up, Ben. Put it up, Ben.
All right, guys. Be good. This was fun. We will talk to you tomorrow.
Off the air.